With Sally Bendtson from Limelight HR. How you doing, Sally?
Good, thank you. Really good.
Good stuff. Thank you very much for joining us today. So if you'd like to get started and tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how long you've been doing it for, please.
Yeah, of course. So I founded my HR consultancy, Limelight HR, about 5 or 6 years ago. Essentially, I'd been working down in London in a variety of big media companies in internal HR teams. So I worked at BBC, Nickelodeon, Guardian, places like that, and moved back to Harrogate, my hometown, and decided to set up my own business just to work with small businesses where I could provide more practical, flexible support. I think it really came from, I really wanted to work with businesses that liked their people, cared about their people, wanted to support them, but being that they're small, they don't really have the access to the expertise around how to do that. So I just really wanted to be able to provide that to local small businesses, and that's where Limelight came from. So yeah, we've just seen it grow over the last 5 years. It's been exciting.
Brilliant. So in terms of the last sort of 2 or 3 years and getting through the pandemic, the biggest impact of that for you as a HR company around Harrogate?
I think the initial impact was that I had a 1.5-year-old son who was no longer in nursery, and I had to find a way to manage the business while keeping him entertained. So that was an interesting time, and I suppose there was initially some work around redundancies and furlough and those types of things. But and it did go quiet or quieter for a period of time, which was good, bearing in mind the childcare needs. But I also found it was a real change for me in terms of my brand, or my personal brand, if you like, and putting myself out there. So I became aware that everything on LinkedIn, where I do a lot of my business and my socials, was really focused around the rules around furlough and how to do redundancies. And it wasn't the most fun reading, and there's a lot of people regurgitating the same information. And I thought, do I just want to be another voice doing that, or do I want to use it in a way that I find more interesting? And I suppose as well, because I was at home and not interacting with people, and I'm a very people person, I kind of wanted to do it in a more authentic way for me than just talking business. So I'd started using TikTok as a bit of fun at home, and then I posted one of them on LinkedIn, and it just blew up, because I mean, I was in a dressing gown with a glass of gin and my hair up in a towel. And I think it was the first time I realized that I could be a business owner, I could be trusted in terms of HR, but I could also show my real personality. And it's the way, it's everything that we do in the way that we work as a team. We're all about having fun, we're all about being ourselves, and we're all about bringing that to companies that we work with. That it's got to be enjoyable, it's got to be engaging, you've got to be able to be yourself. And for me, the pandemic and COVID times are what really helped me shift that and become more me. And then that really aligned with what we were trying to do as a business. And that's where I think we then saw a lot of growth, because people said, actually, we want a type of HR that feels more like us, and we want something that we want to join the party. And we want somebody who we feel we can chat to and be ourselves with. And so it just saw a massive shift then in the business, and we've just continued to grow ever since.
Thank you for sharing that. So were there a couple of actions you perhaps took because of the pandemic that have stuck with the business? I mean, obviously that as a strategy in terms of getting exposure and attracting the right type of clients to work with you, but was there anything else that changed, and because you were forced to do it and you thought, actually, that's a better way of working?
I think that has been a huge part for us. That was the massive change. But I think also just the type of work that we did then as a result of that. So rather than being a company maybe that people think of for disciplinaries and grievances, which we still do that element of the work. but it shifted to people coming to us to say, right, what can we do to engage our employees? What strategies can we employ to keep people happy and create a motivated workforce? So it meant that the type of work we were doing was just more enjoyable for us, more positive, felt like it had a bigger impact. So that's what's changed, I think, the marketing element, but also the type of work we get involved in as a result. And so a lot of people, when we say we work in HR, they go, oh, that must be really difficult. You must be doing lots of redundancies at the moment. It's a small portion of what we do, but actually a lot of what we do is really positive stuff, which is great.
Right. So what does the future look like then, from where you are now, from what you can see, and what do you see the main challenges are as you look ahead?
Gosh, it's a big question. I'm always asking myself. I was only talking to somebody about it this morning and saying sometimes I'm scared to say out loud what I imagine the future to be, because it feels big and exciting, and we're still only a small team of 4 or 5 people, but I want to grow the team, I want to grow the business, and I want it to be that we can just help as many small businesses as possible, to be honest, and to really see that shift in how people are treated and help people enjoy going into work. That's ultimately what, as a team, we all wanted and what brought us together. We've all had experiences in workplaces that weren't great, and we don't want that for other people. And the more we can get that message out and the more businesses we can help with that. Also, I've started doing speaking gigs recently and getting that message out there a bit more. So being able to do more of that and being a voice for a different type of approach to HR is really important for me. I suppose in terms of challenges, obviously the economic market that we're working in, I think there's an element of having to ignore that, and I keep toying with the idea of switching off the news, but I haven't quite got around to it yet.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, I know I need to do it. I will think about it a little bit longer. That's maybe an action point for me that I need to commit to.
You need to rewind the habit.
Yes. So I am conscious of the world around us, and making sure that stress or that fear doesn't become a reality, because the only reality you've really got is what you're working in every day and the work that you're doing to keep things being positive and moving forwards. And actually all the signs are there that we're still bringing in new business and lots of businesses that want to do great things, and they're experiencing growth and they want to support their people in that. So there's no reason to think that we shouldn't keep doing that.
Sure. Good positive attitude there. I like it. So in terms of your experience as a business owner so far, what would you say is the biggest learning lesson that you've had that you could share? I know it's a difficult question when there's maybe just one to pick out. There could be a couple, but yeah, if there's a learning that springs to mind, a lesson that you've had that you say, do you know what, that's the biggest one?
Gosh, that is really difficult to imagine. I suppose it's going for growth. I think if that's what you want to do, if you're not just looking to be a self-employed person, if you're actually looking to own and run a business, it's having that growth mindset and that future focused mindset, and it's having the belief and putting everything into it and making that happen, because otherwise you can spend too long thinking about it, and without getting that help you never free yourself up. The most important thing I've been able to do in terms of the business is to free my time up by having people in place who can do things that either I don't have the time for, I don't have the inclination for, I don't have the expertise for. And that's my pride in seeing the team do all the things that I used to have to do myself. My pride in seeing them just go off and be able to do it without needing me is immense. And to be able to grow more of that and build more of that, and to see your business flourish knowing you don't have to do everything. I think, if people are looking to grow, to be able to let go of things and find a way to get the right people in to do those elements is really important.
Stuff, thank you. And then if you were to advise a younger person starting out in business, perhaps even rewinding to meeting yourself at 18, as a piece of advice that you could offer with someone starting out in business, what would it be?
Gosh, I was clueless when I was 18.
There we go. So what knowledge
Yeah.
could you pass with?
So I think I've done all sorts of things. I've done so many different jobs, and I traveled around the world, and I lived in Sydney, and I moved to London. I would just say experience life. Just go with whatever you want to do at that point in time. Put your all into it. Do things that you're passionate about. Try them. Treat people well around you. Learn as much as you can. Self-development, and be willing to stop whatever you're doing and take a different course if you decide it's not right for you, and just go with it. Enjoy it.
Great stuff. Like that. That's very good, share. Thank you. So what inspires you to do what you do? It could be customers, friends, family, anything that you read or listen to. What's your inspiration? Team members?
Yeah, I'm always, when we're talking about things at work and ideas and ways of doing things, we do a lot of that as a team. So we do a lot of sessions as a team where we work on projects and ideas. I love anything where you're just getting multiple people's input, and a creativity that comes from that, of being open to loads of ideas. I love going to any sessions where I can learn about anything new. So, you know, seminars and webinars. I do really like in-person things, and I've missed those. I do have to balance that with the time that's spent on them. You can't spend all day just going to seminars. I think when I first set up the business, I spent about 6 months just going to seminars and not doing any work. And somebody said, do you think maybe you need to actually start working?
Yeah, you can get hooked into the learning cycle.
Yeah, I'd love to do more podcasts. I keep trying Stephen Bartlett's podcast, and I've heard some really interesting things, but I'm struggle to find the time to do it because I don't really drive around very much, so I don't have the time to listen. But I think just taking on opinions and researching things. As soon as I suppose I get a lot of articles sent to me and different things like that, and if there's something that I hear that takes my interest, then I'll go away and research that specifically.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then lastly, is there any news around the business that you'd like to share, perhaps in just the website, to direct people to if they want to know a bit more about Limelight HR?
Yeah, of course. We've got our website is www.limelighthr.co.uk. We're on all the socials. We're also on TikTok, which is the most fun one. We're on there as Limelight HR, and we've also got a planager that we've just released at the moment, and there's going to be a Black Friday deal on that. And that's really to help small businesses plan and manage their teams for 2023. And it introduces an element of fun and inclusion and diversity and well-being. So it's a really easy, low-cost way for people to start getting some help in a small team. So that's the Planager 2023, and that's on Amazon. Brilliant.
Thank you very much, Sally. Been a pleasure talking to you, and I hope the growth continues for you and it goes from strength to strength.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.